But if you need to come on for any reason, you have a question, you don't understand what I'm saying, because sometimes I don't make sense, you can't hear me, feel free to unmute yourself. I'll just take that out of the recording. Okay, it's not a big deal. I'd rather you be comfortable first. All right. So I'm going to take a moment here to just kind of check in and notice the breath. Notice the sensation of your breath. And see where you feel your breath the most. In your chest, in your diaphragm, or maybe a little bit of both. Noticing if your breath is shallow or deep. Quick or slow. And no judgments, just notice. And then taking deep inhales in through your nose, into your diaphragm. And long, slow exhales out. Today, we are going to focus on releasing tension and releasing things that maybe don't serve us anymore. So as you are here, perhaps imagine that with every exhale, you are releasing your day. Letting go of anything that has come before now. Releasing any thoughts that are not needed. And releasing any expectations for your practice. Remember, the two most important things you do during our time here together are show up and breathe. Everything else is practice and exploration. So let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then wherever you are, making some small movements in fingers and toes, rolling around wrists and ankles. All right, we're going to move pretty slow today. But you know, it's in the title of the class. So let's bring our feet to the earth. Oh, it's deep release. Slow burn was the class before. Oh my goodness. Okay, feet to the earth. We want our feet about hip distance apart, knees are bent. So what we want to focus on with a lot of what we're doing today on our backs is to make sure that our low back is flat to the earth. So if you can slip your hand underneath the low back, we want to try and like minimize that arch for today. So maybe slightly tucking your tailbone, repositioning your back so it's flat on the earth. Okay, so just take a couple of rounds of breath here. Allow the back to settle. You can always walk the feet away or a little bit closer if that's what you need. All right, so I probably should have mentioned before you came down onto the earth to grab your prop, your strap, or whatever it is that you have. Hopefully it's not far. Okay, so nice and slow, we're going to bend the right, or keep the right knee bent and draw that leg in close. Keep the low back flat on the earth. And then your strap here is going to go around the right foot. You're going to keep as much of a bend in your right knee as you need. You can feel a little stretch here along the back of your right leg. Maybe you straighten that leg. We're gonna keep the right foot active. So slightly curl back the toes. It's somewhere between a flex and a point. So nice and soft here. If you need to reposition the back flat on the earth, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. I apologize. All right. So then if you want to, and you want to feel a little bit more, perhaps you slowly start to walk the left foot away from you and keep the low back flat. And then maybe that left leg comes long. And then you want to kind of push the heel of the left foot down towards the earth. So we're a little bit active, a little bit of a stretch. So part of the reason why we find that flattening of the low back on the earth in a lot of these poses today is to create length and space here in the low back, in the sacrum area, which is kind of between the low back and the tailbone. So softening your shoulders. If your leg is straight, keep a micro bend in the right knee. Softening in the face and the jaw, around the eyes. Taking deep inhales in through the nose and long, slow exhales out. All right, so finding one more round of breath here. And then if that left leg is out long, very slowly bring that foot to the earth and slowly bring it in. All right, we're going to bend that right knee and release the straps. Gently bring the right foot down. Take your time. Notice what's going on with the low back. Reposition it if you have to. And then draw the left knee in toward you. Strap goes around the left leg. And then extend, take your time, left foot up towards the sky. So sometimes even moving slower can make it a little bit more challenging. I'm having little shakes and stuff as we move through this. Left foot is active, softening the shoulders. So really your arms are just kind of like heavy weights here. Again, an option to walk that right leg out nice and slow to keep the left, the low back on the earth. Oh my goodness. I think I'm getting towards the end of my ability to speak properly today. And soften here. Softening in the upper body, even though we're a little bit active in the lower body. Let go of the need to have to do something, to be active. Just kind of allow gravity to do its job here. The arms are heavy, assisting with that stretch. All right, so 2 more rounds of breath. And then slowly walking that right foot to the earth if the leg is long. Slowly bending the left knee and removing the strap. Placing the left foot on the earth. Take your time. All right. So our feet are going to stay hip distance apart here. We're going to find a little bit of bridge movement. So arms come down by the sides. When we come into our bridge, we want to keep the knees in line with the hips, and we're going to move really slow. Okay, so pushing the feet into the earth, lift your hips, squeeze the inner thighs. Maybe you squeeze the glutes. Only come up as far as you feel comfortable. It might just be an inch or two off the earth. And then slowly lowering back down towards the earth. Take your time. Again, pushing the feet into the earth, lift the hips, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes. And then slowly lowering back down. Giving the back a moment to rest. And then last time, push the feet into the earth, squeezing inner thighs and glutes. Find a couple rounds of breath here. And then slowly lowering back down. Okay. Again, finding that flat back on the earth. If you need to, if it's comfortable, you can try. Feet are wide on the mat and slowly windshield wipering the knees from side to side. If it's not comfortable, just try not to make too many movements, allowing the low back to slowly soften and release. So either way is to release tension in the low back. All right. Our next shape here is thread the needles. We're going to walk the feet back to hip distance apart, reposition the back flat on the earth. All right, draw the right knee in towards you. Anytime we move the legs, we want to turn on the core to help us bring the legs or move the legs around. It helps to protect the low back. So right foot is active, and then gently placing the right ankle over the left thigh. We're going to keep the right foot active here. So depending on what's going on in your body, maybe you just use your right hands to push the right thigh away to feel a stretch here, maybe along the outside of the right thigh. Okay, if it's comfortable for you, drawing your legs in closer towards you and then grabbing a hold of the left leg somewhere. So know that you have a strap if you need to. You can uncross the legs, sorry, bring the strap around the left thigh and then recross the legs and gently use the strap to bring your legs closer to you. We want to keep that right foot engaged and softening the shoulders again. Notice your breath. Deep inhales and long, slow exhales. Is there something in your life that you need to release, let go of, or surrender? Finding 2 more rounds of breath. And then slowly releasing the left foot to the earth if you brought the legs up close. All right, we're going to draw that right knee back in towards the chest. And then slowly bring the right foot back down towards the earth. We're going to come over to the other side. Again, if you're using a strap, place that strap around the back of the right thigh this time. We're going to draw the left knee in, activating the left foot, and then cross the left foot over the right thigh. You need to reposition your back flat on the earth and either pushing the left thigh away, or maybe you draw the legs closer, grabbing a hold of the right leg somewhere, or using your straps. So see what's going on in your hips. Try and soften in the hips, releasing any tension. And then releasing any tension that you feel in your jaw. Try to send your shoulders down towards the earth, soften them. And then we'll find 2 more rounds of breath. And then slowly releasing here. Foot to the earth. Activate the left foot, draw the left knee in, and place the left foot on the earth. Sorry, you heard that. All right. So again, reposition the low back flat on the earth. And if it feels good, knees come together, feet come wide. Just allow the back to soften. Find a couple rounds of breath here. All right, so we're going to come up to seated, but we're going to do it carefully here. So slowly rolling over onto one side, whichever side is calling for you. You're coming into a fetal position. And then you're going to use your core to come up. So draw the navel in, and also whichever arm is on top, you use that arm to help you come up to seated. Both hands come all the way up. Great. And then we're going to turn around and come right into a tabletop pose. So wrists are underneath the shoulders, and knees are underneath the hips. If you have something nearby, a blanket or towel, and if you wish to place it under your knees for extra padding, feel free to do so. So in our tabletop, we grip our fingers into the earth and then slightly cup the hands as well, almost as if there's a little ladybug underneath your hands and you don't want to squish it. All right. And then we're going to find some cat-cow movements. So you're going to move just as far as you feel comfortable. In your cat, rounding your spine, tucking your tailbone, tucking your chin, arch the back up towards the sky, push your body away from the earth. And then moving in the opposite direction. If it feels good for you, tailbone points back, shoulders roll back and down the spine. And just moving here at your own pace. Maybe it feels better to hang out in a stretch somewhere. Feel free to do that if that's what you wish. Maybe one variation of this, either the cat or the cow doesn't feel good, you can always just come back to tabletop instead with a flat back. All right, one more time in each direction, or whatever direction you've decided to go in. and then come back to center. Tabletop. We're going to come into a child's pose. So if this variation is comfortable for you, knees still together where they are, feel free to keep the knees where they are. If it feels like it's difficult to breathe when you come down, because the chest is right up against the legs, feel free to bring the knees apart. Okay, so we're gonna shift the hips back as far as we feel comfortable going. Reach the arms out long, walk them long. Allow the head to come down. So if the head doesn't come all the way down to the earth, maybe grab something to place underneath the head or find stacked fists. All right, so notice if it feels like you're trying to hold your hips up somehow. Soften, let go. Can you release any tension that you feel in your hips? Release the need to get your hips all the way back. All right, one more round of breath. And then you're going to slowly make your way back into your tabletop pose. So from table, we're going to come down to the earth. So shifting your weight forward, tuck the elbows in by your sides and gently lower all the way down. Right, we're going to find a baby cobra, but we're going to experiment with how it feels best for us in our bodies. So in the baby cobra, to begin, we're going to pick up the right leg, point the toes, reach the toes away. So you're finding length in that leg and then placing the right foot to the earth. Doing the same thing with the left, reach away, place it down. This creates a little space in the low back and the sacrum area. All right, so options here. Sometimes it feels better to bring toes together and heels apart. We still want to push the tops of the feet gently into the earth wherever we have our feet. For some people, it feels better to have legs wide. You're going to play around with it. Sometimes it's feet hip distance apart. So shoulders roll back and down the spine, tuck the elbows in by your sides. Crown of the head reaches forward as you gently lift your heart up off the earth. Now, if this feels like too much, feel free to come down. Rest your head on maybe stacked hands and soften the legs. So notice how it feels in your back body. Maybe try to soften your glutes and still keep the tops of your feet pushing down into the earth. And notice if that feels better for you or maybe it's uncomfortable. Find what feels right for you. One more round of breath. And then gently lowering, releasing any tension that you feel or that you have in your legs. Hands come underneath your forehead, stacking your hands, bending your knees, gently windshield wipering your feet from side to side. All right, we're going to come back into tabletop. Take your time, making your way back into tabletop. And then maybe find some more cat-cow movements here. Or maybe come back into child's pose. What is your body calling for? Which one of these variations or poses felt best for you and your body? Okay, we're gonna very slowly come to seated. Okay, from our seated pose, we're going to find a twist, only if it feels good. Okay, if not, you're just gonna kind of stay with the legs out. So we will bring, gently slide the right foot in, and then you wanna find your sit bones, the comfortable place to sit here so you can sit up nice and tall. So this might be enough for you. And we wanna find a bit of space here between the right leg or left leg and the foot. Okay, so about a hand's distance apart. So we don't want to be crushed up today. We're sitting nice and tall. We're going to place the right hand behind us. You're only going to go as far as you feel comfortable. So inhale, lengthen the spine, crown of the head reaches high. Exhale, slowly turning towards the right. Taking deep inhales, keep lengthening the spine as you inhale. Long, slow exhales. Inhale to lengthen your spine once again, and exhale to come back to center. Okay, so next one you have an option. If a half cow face, which I'll show you, if that doesn't feel good for you, you're going to allow the right foot to come towards the inside of the left leg and the knee out towards the side. So our half cow face, we're going to activate the right foot, cross that right foot under, and we want to kind of walk the foot over so that we're stacking knees as much as we comfortably can. That may not feel good. It might be up here. It's wherever it feels comfortable for you. Okay, find your sits bones once again and find length in your spine. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale. Maybe you start to hinge forward with a flat back, walking the hands forward. Keep length in the spine. If you need to come out early, the most important thing to do is to activate your right foot to protect your knee as you move out. Two more rounds of breath here. And slowly walking yourself back up to center. Right foot is active as you take your time, moving your right leg out long. Drawing the left foot in, creating some space between the foot and the leg. Find your sit bones, that comfortable place to sit. And know that you don't have to bring your leg in all the way. It can be out a little bit if it needs to be. All right, so right hand to the left knee, left hand comes behind you. Inhale to lengthen. And if it feels good, exhale to turn. With every inhale, lengthening. And with every exhale, maybe you soften the shoulders. Perhaps with every exhale, you soften around your eyes. Finding one more round of breath here. And then inhale to lengthen and exhale to come back to center. All right, so same option as before. Maybe that left foot comes in, knee comes out to the side, or maybe activate the left foot and cross that leg over. If you have to, you can kind of heel toe this foot over to stack the legs. Find your sits bones once again. Find length in your spine. Maybe you stay here, or maybe on your exhale, hinging from the hips with a flat back, coming forward. Use your hands to support you to come forward. And remember, only going 70% of the way. Perhaps releasing the need to have to do more, to have to go further in the pose. Find one more round of breath here. And then slowly making your way back up. Activate the left foot, slowly uncross. Okay, so option again, maybe coming into cat-cow, maybe into child's pose, or maybe you're ready to come right back down onto your back. Find a few rounds of breath here. Nothing like going to a yoga class and the teacher says, do whatever you want. Listen to your body though. Okay, one more round of breath here. And then we're going to make our way onto our back. So take your time. Maybe a couple more things we're going to do on the back. So feet, once again, come to the earth. Reposition your back flat on the earth. Feet are hip distance apart. Activating the right foot, drawing the right knee in. Hands come either around the back of the right thigh or around the right shin, keeping that right foot active. And then perhaps slowly walking the left leg out long. So hugging in the leg as much as it feels comfortable to do so. Take a moment to check in and maybe scan your body, notice where you're holding tension. Where can you soften and release? If the left leg is out long, slowly drawing that left foot to the earth. Right foot is active, gently placing it to the earth. All right, reposition the back flat. Left foot is active. Use your core to help you bring that left leg in. Where does it feel good to grab the leg? And does it feel good to slowly walk the right foot away? So we slowly walk the foot away to keep the back in that position, flat. Honestly, I was trying to figure out a way to say flat on the earth, but in a different way. And couldn't think of anything. So soften, release. Perhaps you imagine your body sinking down into the earth. All right, left foot is active. Slowly drawing the right foot back to the earth with a bent knee. And slowly bringing that left foot down towards the earth. All right, a gentle twist, and again, only if it feels good for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep the feet and the shoulders on the earth. Arms are going to come out to the side, palms face up towards the sky. You're going to push into your feet, lift your hips and slide them over towards the left side of your mat. And then slowly drop the knees over towards the right. Nice and slow. So by doing this, by shifting our hips over, we kind of move the twist more into the upper back rather than the lower back. Not the upper back, sorry, the middle back rather than the low back. So we're not like twisting and tweaking anything here, hopefully. If it feels good, maybe you look over towards the left side. With every exhale, maybe you're able to soften a little bit more. Okay, so finding 3 more rounds of breath with your last exhale being the longest and slowest. And once that's complete for you, very gently bringing your knees back to center, feet on the earth, and reposition your back flat to the earth. Okay, and then whenever you are ready, pushing into the feet to slide the hips over towards the right side of the mat and allowing the knees to drop over towards the left. So maybe legs are staggered, maybe knees are stacked, maybe you walk the feet away a little bit. Whatever feels right for you. There's no particular shape that you have to be in. If you wish, looking towards the right side. So the only way it's wrong is if it doesn't feel good. And if that's the case, come on out. So I invite you to notice your jaw. Notice your upper jaw. And then notice what happens when you imagine that you can soften both the inside and the outside of your ears. I'm not crazy. I know you can't do it, but just imagine. And then softening the lower jaw. All right, let's find 3 more rounds of breath, with the last exhale being the longest and slowest. And again, once that's complete for you, allowing the knees to come back to center, repositioning the back flat of the earth. Okay. One more thing, if it's comfortable for you. If not, I invite you to find constructive rest. So constructive rest is knees come together, feet come wide. Okay. If it's comfortable for you, very slowly, now turn on your core, draw on the navel, bring the knees in closer to you, grabbing a hold of maybe the backs of the thighs or the shins. You can always grab your prop that you have, your strap or whatever it may be, to place around your shins to gently pull. Again, we're only pulling as far as we feel comfortable. Releasing the need to change anything about yourself, being okay with where you are today in your life. Taking one more round of breath. And then with control, turn on your core, draw in the navel, slowly bring the feet down towards the earth. All right. So Shavasana, or any final resting shape here on the earth. Again, option for Shavasana, knees can be bent, feet can be wide. Maybe you place something underneath the knees to provide a little bit of extra support for the low back. Or if you'd rather be on your side or on your front body, please feel free to do so. I will be seated. So just so you know, if you happen to look up and think, did I miss something? Once you find a comfortable place here on the earth, returning to the sensation of your breath. With every exhale, see if you can let go and soften. Allow your body to sink and settle towards the earth just a little bit more. allowing your head to sink down towards the earth. Releasing any tension that you feel in your forehead, around your eyes, in your jaw. Notice what feels the best for you when you soften your tongue. Where does it feel the most relaxing to place your tongue in your mouth? Something I never really thought about until yoga. Softening your shoulders, allowing your arms to melt, hands and fingers relax. Releasing any tension that you may feel in your low back and your hips. And allowing your legs to sink and settle towards the earth. So sometimes when we feel like we are maybe stuck somewhere in life, there's something that we need to release and let go of. Maybe we feel blocked somewhere. It could be because we don't feel like we are enough. I invite you to let go of feeling like you aren't enough. Let go of feeling like what you do isn't enough. Let go of feeling like what you have isn't enough. And let go of feeling like what and who you are isn't enough. With every exhale, maybe you soften just a little more. Let go just a little more. Nothing that you need to do, nowhere you need to be, and nothing you need to change. Finding 3 more rounds of breath, with the last exhale being the longest and slowest. And then making some small movements in your fingers and toes. Maybe those small movements become bigger movements. If it feels good for you, perhaps stretching here. So to come up to seated, once again, take your time rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. Draw the navel in, use your hands to help you slowly come up to seated, finding any comfortable seated position for you. And then once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. Taking deep inhales in through your nose and into your diaphragm, and long, slow exhales out. On your inhales, I invite you to inhale self-compassion, remembering the two most important things you did during our time here together were show up and breathe. Everything else was practice and exploration. As you exhale, releasing anything that doesn't serve you. May you go in peace, love, and gratitude. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful evening. So I'll be here if you have any questions or anything. I'll stop